Guys, did you know ATMs is one of the biggest scams ever? Okay. And it's a silent one as well. So that's the most dangerous. Let's talk about that. Uh, Cash payments and cash handling used to be about, you know, close to 50% of cash was used in 2016. Then up until recently, it's gone up now. So 2024, as of 2024, we had a cash utilization of about 30%. That means less people are using cash. On the other hand, ATM locations have gone up. So that means more people are seeing ATMs. There are more ATMs around than cash is needed. Why? So that means people are using less cash, but the people using cash, about 40% of the people using cash are paying more to use that cash, to access that cash, right? Because the idea is that cash is king. You always need to have cash, but you're paying to access that cash. That's the most silent way of making money that people are not knowing about, that I'm here to expose in this video. So let's talk about that. Again, across the world, okay, let's start with the UK. The UK, there's 70,000 ATM machines across the UK. Across the world, 2.9 million ATM machines. And most of these, right, so it used to be the case that a bank would provide an ATM for free. So if you have a bank comes to you, in front of the bank, you'd have an ATM, which is free. The ATM will have to be loaded with cash. X amount of cash is loaded overnight, usually around the clock. But it's loaded about the night, then there's an estimation of how much is taken over the course of the day. In fact, it's limited as well with how much you withdraw. So when someone comes here and goes, hey, especially millionaires that come and say, hey, I'm worth, 1 billion. You're worth 1 billion, but the maximum you can still withdraw is $300. Okay. That's it. That's all you can. In Europe, you can go up to maybe 500, 600. Let me know if you get more when you withdraw. But I think I joined Revolut back then. Revolut was up to £700 we could withdraw per day, which is crazy. I think, nowadays a few banks take it up to 700. But that's your net worth. That's how much you're worth. Right? That's all you can get from the ATM machine. So the banks go ahead and load that cash based on how much they see that you will be withdrawing across customers. Now, what that means then is they're loading that for their customers. Therefore, if another person comes in and uses that person pays. That was the idea behind it. It used to be free for banks. Across the banking sector, it has to be free. Then banks came up with the idea where they can charge customers. Again, silently, quietly, no one complained, such that you can then go ahead and charge other customers for using it because because of the inconvenience, it costs that you can't estimate how much it's worth. And then third parties realized and said, wait, we can get in on this action. So third party vendors started coming in and creating their own ATM machines. And what they sold it as was convenience. So that means if you go to a corner store, if you go to the corner of the street where there is no bank because the banks have closed because they're now all fintechs, then they sell convenience to you. And then they charge you. Okay, so let's talk about that here. Who am I? I'm the CEO of Oruka. Oruka is a smart payment ring, right? It allows you tap to pay wherever you are. So it's www.oruka.com. We launched, so we also have a health ring as well. We have a payment ring and we have bracelets as well. In case you don't do rings, you can do a bracelet. So you tap to pay with your ring with no need to actually get a wallet or a phone. So we're on the fintech side of things. And what that means then is clearly our users don't need cash. Our users don't need their phones or their wallets, especially this risky day and age where, there are a lot of phone thefts around the cities, where there's also a lot of, battery issues. So right now my battery is already 5%. I can tell you I have to go charge it ASAP. So things like that is where you don't need to rely on, especially if you're out and about, if you're traveling, if you're, going to work, you don't have to worry about charging it when you can just tap to pay across your train, coffee, restaurant, concerts, everywhere. We love our users, and obviously that's why I'm here to talk. But I really want to talk about ATMs because I went to a garage the other day in the UK, somewhere in the Midlands in the UK, and I went in to withdraw cash, and it said ATM free to use. But when I went to withdraw the cash and put my PIN in it, it then says accept the local vendor, whoever. ATM said free to use, but when you go in to actually withdraw the cash, it was £4 to withdraw the cash. Again, £4 will not end the world, but it's something that I advise my users to be watchful for. Don't give money for the sake of giving money. Be smart with your money. Okay? If you get nothing from this video, just get that and you can skip away. Be smart with your money. If someone's charging you for it, think twice. So why would I pay £4 to access my own money from an ATM machine? For the logistics? It's definitely not worth £4. So I took my card out immediately and that was it. But my point, and it got me thinking, right? Why and who runs these ATMs? And how much are they really making from people? Okay, so here's the stats, right? Again, across the world, again, some people jump at me and say, "Oh, my ATM is free." Yes, so across the world, I can tell you, especially the UK, US. If you go to your bank, it's it's mostly free. If you go across to other banks, mind you, it has to be other banks. Other banks, you get up to 80% of that free, but the others are not. So any other ones, you're getting charged for it. Europe is less. So Europe, Scandinavian countries, Asia, you pay to withdraw. If you travel out and go to an ATM to use that card, you pay to withdraw. There's a lot of inconsistency where you need to be careful. If you're in your home country, you're right. Make sure you go to the home country, check it, and make sure it's free. As soon as you travel out, you're paying. And no one says that to you. You think the ATM, you go into withdraw cash because you only use the local currency. You pay £4, $4, €4 on average for accessing that ATM. And no one tells you that. Even your bank that you think is free, your bank then charges you. And that's where you see things like a hidden cost, a minimum amount. A minimum amount basically means that you have to hold up to 1,000 per month. And why is that? Because 1,000 per month means that the bank can invest your money, borrow that money out, and then make 5-6% on that. So if you at least hold up to $1,000, they've made the ATM fees from you, because ATM fees is generally about $1, £1, €1 across the market. Then they turn ahead and they charge and what's called an interchange fee to the bank. The bank takes that on because you're a good customer. You hold balances with them. If you have no money with them and they don't charge your fees, then they're going to kick you out. Because the bank does, I've said it several times, banks don't love you. They're there to run the business. And they run the business for their stakeholders, not for you. So again, you see a lot of people getting debanked for this, right? The stakeholders, the investors are who matters to a bank. Again, we're not the same. So please, before anyone comes at me, we're paid by our users. So we do this for users, not for investors. No investor. In fact, we don't have investors at the moment, I can tell you. We do everything ourselves. We're a small bank, small app, small fintech app. What that means then is, our users order the ring. We custom our users so you go in, you order a ring size. When you order a ring size, that means it's for you. Okay, so it's a wearable, which is very different from a bank. A bank will go ahead and give you a card, whether you like it or not. In fact, banks turn around and then maybe design the card and put some logos on it, and people are happy about it. It still costs 50p to produce, next to nothing. So banks don't care about that. They will just give it away for free. It's not next to nothing. But when it comes to creating rings and creating wearables, it's not cheap to make. So that's why banks don't want to be involved in this. Apple Pay, Aura, these guys don't want to be involved in this as well, because they make a lot more money on health rings. I say all that to say then that for us, what matters is the customers. We care about customers. Unlike the banks, where what they want to see is that they make money from you, or they take their charges back. And their charges in this case is for ATM. So ATM fees, as long as someone's operating it, someone is paying. And guess who's paying? You're paying. Yeah. So that's something to watch out for. And I've talked about, again, I don't want to be tight, but I've talked about withdrawing for $4. Some people might say it's okay, I'm just going to pay this once. But if you think about it, you've gone to a fuel machine, you pay once. If you pay twice a month, that's $8 you've just paid. Over the course of a year, that's $120 that you paid for nothing. You paid to access your money. That's $120 that you could have just given away to charity if you so wish to. That's $120 you could have given to your kids to spend. $120 you could have given to just for anything. Sorry about this is checking my pulse at the moment, right? So our rings also check pulses as well, by the way. So it's not a health ring. I don't like people calling this a health ring. We're not a health ring. We are actually a payment ring. You can tap to pay wherever you are. Okay, and we connect again with bracelets. But I say all that to say, guys, please be careful. Be careful with the expenditures. Be careful when you travel out. Know and avoid ATM machines. Okay, what's the alternative to it? The alternative is just use a ring, use a payment ring, or use your bank card. Go digital. Like, most people worry about being tracked, but when you go to the ATM, you're tracked. You go to the ATM, you withdraw cash, you're tracked. Because now they know straight away where you've been to withdraw cash, and they know exactly how far you're going to go from that ATM point. So either way, you're being tracked. I'm not saying that it's a good thing to be tracked, but all I'm saying is be secure, be safe, be smart with your money. Okay, because if it turns out that you're being charged or you're being tracked, then there are ways around it. Okay, you can go into crypto. Crypto means you're not being tracked. Okay, you can avoid that. We work with Binance, actually. So our rings work with Binance and Coinbase. So that means you can actually top these up with Coinbase if you're worried about being tracked, rather than withdrawing cash. That one, you stand the risk of being robbed. Okay. Number two, you're now actually paying to access that cash. Number three, you take that cash out, you're no longer earning interest on it. So the negatives just supersedes it completely. Yeah. And if that drops, again, I feel sorry for the ATM operators and ATM machine, but if that drops, then there's no need for them, right? So again, logistics to me for ATM machines and the amount of money that they charge, I can tell in terms of revenue, right? These guys made across bank, I kid you not, right? I wish I was joking with this. They made 17 billion 25 billion is what they made last year. So for ATM operators, if you own an ATM, if you create an ATM, if you go on and just create a machine, put it in a box, get cash and put it in there, and people withdraw cash, you earn 25 billion. Maybe you should stop this video and go do that, right? If you're doing that, that's good. I have no issues with that, okay? Because you need to know what you're doing in that case. But if you're a poor user and you're being charged this amount, then you need to know you're being charged. These guys made 25 billion. Guess who paid for it? The customers paid. They're on track to come up to 31 billion in the next 2 years. So in the next 2 years, ATM machines, if they carry on this way, are going to make 31 billion from customers, from you and I, not from banks. Those banks will charge you for the cost, even though it's not clear, even though it's not straightforward. You can look at the statement as much as you want to, but you're being charged with hidden fees for withdrawing this ATM. And the more you use this charge, I talked about credit cards as well. So people worry about, oh my goodness, as long as my credit card is safe, as long as I'm not, overspeeding my limits, exceeding my limits, I'm fine. But here's the point. If you use your credit card and people default on their credit card, the banks charge you because default rates go to others. The same thing with insurance. If you go into an insurance company and you're doing your insurance, you drive your car safely with no issues, with no claims, that's good. But if there are people around you that keep claiming against the insurance company, the insurance are going to go down. So what the insurance do then is they charge people that are safe, and the premiums go up in general, slightly. You don't realize, but it goes up slightly. Yeah, that's the same thing as well with the banks and ATMs. So when the ATM is free for you, then in truth, you're being charged a hidden fee somehow with balance minimums, with subscription fees, and with some sort of fee or the other, okay? Or with an exchange rate fee when you go abroad. So the exchange rate goes up so that it charges you for the ATM usage that you use, especially when you withdraw maybe 1,000, you've just spent $40 there on that withdrawal fee on FX. So there you go. So I hope that's one lesson to learn from today. Please, guys, use your card, use your bank cards, use your apps. There are a lot of apps these days. The 1%, 1.5% you're paying is nothing, yeah, compared to the ATM withdrawal fees and the cash, especially if you can't finish using the cash. You come back, I've got so much cash lying around from different countries now, which I can't use. In fact, I've got some cash from Zimbabwe that is no longer being used. It's defunct. So that cash is gone. Because currencies change a lot. Okay. So guys, please be careful there. Be smart with your money and then keep safe. Thank you. Take care. See you in the next one. Bye.